Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/WiseGuyRadio. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. That's at www.audibletrial.com, AUDIBLETRIAL.com/WiseGuyRadio. This is the Wise Guy Radio Show, a podcast dedicated to educating and inspiring through conversations with today's top talents in the world of glass. We will be dissecting their journeys in hopes to deliver actionable content that you, the artist, can start implementing now, helping you grow not only as a creative spirit, but also a successful artistic entrepreneur. With a little organization, relationship building, and your artistic ability, you can obtain greatness. Climb aboard, whether an artist, retail owner, or enthusiast. We have a ton of fun in store for you. Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show. Hey, what's shaking bacons? Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show, episode number 47. This is Jay Michael, your host, and I am here to entertain, inspire, and educate all you folks out there in the glass world, whether you're a functional glass artist, furnace worker, lamp worker, fuser, slumper, or even just an enthusiast, shop owner, anybody that has to do anything with glass. I am here to bring you up-to-date knowledge, information, artists, insights, stories, all that good stuff. And it's an honor to be here with you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's guest I have on is Jupiter Nielsen, who is a Hawaiian-based glass artist, and he specializes in the plant life and horticulture in the area. Really, his biggest passion there really is the hard-to-find plants, and he'll go out and on these amazing journeys and adventures and take pictures and photographs and then go home and make his findings in glass. And it's a pretty cool, inspirational story. He gives us a lot of his insights and what he has been through and where he's been in terms of where his glasses started, and then also where he's looking at going, and including coming up here November 7th through the 9th, he'll be in Seattle, Washington at the Boreal School, where he'll be teaching a class on basic intro into using color for glass sculpture, color application, layering color, all that kind of fun stuff. So anybody out there in that area, definitely hit up the Boreal School. He's going to be assisted by Nathan Belmont. Nathan goes by @nbelm. That's @NBELM on Instagram. You can check out his work as well. You got two really great artist sculptures guys that are going to be there teaching this class. So I recommend anybody in the area of the Boreal School out there in Seattle, Washington, definitely check it out and take full advantage of this situation, because you will definitely get an insight into some pretty cool sculptural work. Also, coming up here on our next episode, I will be talking about shop etiquette, and also then we will be getting our book review for the 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, which is all about lifestyle design, and continuing our talk and focus on the benefits of being a glass artist and how we can really design our life around being an artist. And so definitely inspired by my conversation with Jupiter. I've been enthralled by the idea of living in Hawaii my entire life, ever since I was a small child. And to talk to somebody who came out of Washington and then moved to Hawaii on a pretty cool kind of circumstance, I guess, if you want to call it. You'll hear in a story. Definitely want to get out there and go visit and work some glass with him as well. It'll be super cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed that episode, or this episode, and the conversation that we have. And also don't forget to go to wiseguyradio.com. That's WYZGUI radio.com, and sign up for our newsletter. And also subscribe to that, and then also subscribe to the show if you guys have not done that yet, whether it's on iTunes or Stitcher. Also want to thank our newest sponsor, Green Flash Glass, out of Tallahassee, Florida. They are a amazing couple, family, group of people that are creating an awesome product. And any of you smoke shops out there that are looking for a high-quality water pipe, whatever it is that you're looking for, definitely hit them up. They are at greenflashglass.com. They exclusively are a wholesale-only company. So if you're listening to this and you like their work and you want to have it in your store locally, definitely hit up your local smoke shop and have them contact Green Flash Glass to make sure they get their product in their shops. So again, they're a Florida-based company, and they are officially my very first sponsor on the show, and I can't thank them enough. So go check them out, greenflashglass.com. You can also check them out on Instagram at greenflashglass. And other than that, folks, I'm going to get on with this episode. Can't wait to share this with you guys. And Also, my dogs are in the house going completely apeshit right now, which makes for a great recording background noise. So before they get any louder, I'm going to let you all run. We will talk to you all soon. Much love. Enjoy the show. Any questions, please contact me at info@wiseguyradio.com. Y'all take care. Peace. What's happening, Jupiter? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. Aloha.
Yeah, man. Aloha. Stoked that you are out in Hawaii, a place that I've always wanted to visit ever since I was a small child, and I will get out there one day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a good spot.
Yeah, dude, slightly envious. I'm just like 5 blocks from the water myself, but it's not Hawaii. So,
yeah, everybody loves the water, but I'm a mountain person. Like, that's actually what I gravitate towards more, and it's got it all. That's what people kind of don't quite realize about Hawaii. It's got a little bit of everything here, so
yeah,
that's what I like about it.
Yeah, isn't there like even snow at times in some of the higher elevations?
Yeah. Mauna Kea means White Mountain. It's 14,000 feet up there, so they get every year. I think they actually even had like a couple months ago or something.
Jesus.
Not that long ago.
Crazy.
Yeah, not too much over here though. We're only 10,000 on Maui, so I'm on Maui.
Okay, nice. Hell yeah, dude. Well, before we get off track here too quickly, let's get started on the right foot here. So if you want to give us a little bit brief background on yourself, your personal life and whatever, if you want to, and then also your glass life, where you got started, how you got started, and where you're at now.
I'm from a little island in Washington State, originally San Juan Island, kind of north of Seattle, and grew up out there. And one of my friends had lived out here when he was a little kid, and he always wanted to come back to Hawaii after graduating. And he was a year older than me, so he left like ahead of time. And so I got to hear all the envious, going through the Washington winter, hearing about Hawaii for that last year of high school was hard.
Yeah, I bet.
So, kind of ended up in a weird situation and just ended up out here like really lucky. Like he ended up buying me a plane ticket and came out with no money. And he had started working at a little glass shop in Lahaina, Maui. In 95, I think he had started there. So I moved out in January 96 and almost immediately started working at that shop, just kind of painting gold on little dolphins and stuff like that. He was, first day in Maui, I watched him sit in the window and make a pterodactyl and angelfish and geckos and stuff out of glass, and it was pretty enthralling. Like right away, I'd really only seen a guy at like the county fair flame work when I was a kid, and that was about it. Even coming from Washington, being so close to Pilchuck, I'd never even heard of it. Growing up, I didn't really, sheltered from that, so I missed all that. So I had to come to Hawaii to fall into glass.
Interesting.
And I did kind of grunt work around the shop for just a little bit, and then right away just was able to basically just be paid by the hour to sit in the window and be on display and make glass, and wasn't given like a quota or any of those harsh things that a lot of those shops do a lot of the times. And I didn't have to learn spun glass, which was luckily it just kind of died out at that time. And color glass was just, kind of new. And it was like we had a good stash of like North Star colors from like original batches of North Star colors at that shop that the old owner bought a long time ago, and played around with a bunch of that. And it was kind of like we were told to very sparingly use the color, but that was what interested me rather than making clear dolphins and sharks and whales and stuff like that a lot of people did.
Yeah.
So I got really into the colors right away.
Heck yeah.
And so I just sat there in that window for 11 years or so.
Wow.
Doing 12-hour shifts, like 7 days a week. And for a couple of those years, my buddy and I, we lived like right next door in Lahaina. It was fun time. It was like super cheap rent, and just making glass and living in Hawaii and hiking and body surfing, and it was pretty awesome.
Hell yeah.
And so, I just did that for a long time, and that shop kind of folded under. Got to work with a few other people over the years that were pretty awesome. Jennifer Umphris started working with me about 8 years into that or something like that. And she was really one of the first people that was really super into glass and like would talk shop with me. So that was pretty awesome. She went into it full on immediately. And then she took off and the shop folded not too long after that. And I've been working on my own ever since. But I feel pretty lucky that like I've been working with plain-work glass long enough in Boro that I got to start when colors, were so scarce and only 20 of them or something at the time. And, cobalt and like exotic green and multi was the shit at the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like I remember when Blue Moon came out, and
yeah, me too.
Blue Moon, so awesome.
Yeah.
And then I remember getting the first batches of Canary and Lava and Cherry, and we worked on a national 3A hand torch exclusively with hacker tips on there at that shop for that whole time. And so that was just like, it just didn't work. It just destroyed those colors, It's so hard to work with them and stuff. But I feel, lucky that I was just kind of paid by the hour. So I got to just slowly like learn and just kind of do whatever I wanted to do and make stuff and just play around. And the only thing that bumps me out is I never learned blown glass, really. I've worked solid the whole time, which I enjoy, but I have missed out on that. And I'm trying to get into that now, and it's a little tricky to become a beginner again.
Yeah, it's a different ball of wax. It's interesting. It was like when I first got into the hot shop and did furnace work for the first time after blowing Boro, doing that, it was like, holy shit, this is crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Holy shit.
I do sales at a hot shop 2 days a week.
Okay.
Where they also sell glass, and I do sales because I always did sales at that shop in Lahaina. That was part of working there. You did sales half the time and did torch the other half, pretty much. And so it's always been part of it for me, actually selling the glass to tourists, which, quite frankly, after 19 years is starting to wear me down, like really badly. But I do work at a hot shop, and yeah, they let me try it out a little bit, and yeah, it's a whole nother ball of wax.
Yeah, but it's amazing the amount of the skill sets you can get for your hands, and like learning the tools and stuff. Like it's a whole different setup. But I've taken a lot of that knowledge and continued it into my torch work. It's amazing.
Definitely. And just watching them, there's things that I've realized that make me think about things differently, or have been like, oh yeah, that's something I do and nobody taught me, but I see you doing, the same thing. I do a ton of marvering lately on my colors. I'm layering colors, and I do a lot of just like marvering those colors down to thin the layers into each other. And it's just like watching somebody take a gather, over their color and then have to, even that gather out, that layer over how they marver. And I was really never taught to do that way because, working in a shop, we were taught to be fast more than anything.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. So from that point...
I never got it, unfortunately.
That's funny. Yeah, I hear you, dude. So from that point on, then, just reading your bio and stuff, so your fascination of the plant life from when you grew up as a kid to now then going to Hawaii, that's like the mecca for frickin' botanical anything. I mean, it's just fucking amazing out there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like where you're at now?
Yeah, it's beautiful. I fell into, when I came out here, you see all the tropical flowers, the gingers and heliconias, like bird of paradise kind of things. Yeah. And just amazing, giant hibiscus and everything everywhere. And it's so, so beautiful and just kind of overwhelming. And they're so easy to grow. You just like rip out a chunk and throw it in the ground and it grows, and a banana, you do that and it's like this 4-foot leaf pops out every other day. It's pretty amazing to watch here. But as I got more into staring at plants, I started to notice that these rare ones that I was seeing in the books, native Hawaii, stuff that was actually native to Hawaii. I realized all those gingers, all of that kind of stuff was not actually from Hawaii.
Right, yeah.
All the stuff that people take as being Hawaiian is not truly Hawaiian. And then when you talk to people, you get the idea that all the native stuff's dead and, give it up and, who cares? Like, it's all gone. And that was something we screwed up. But then you actually realize, no, it's actually most of that stuff in most of the world is still doing okay as long as we, are smart about it and actually care about it. And that starts with knowing that it exists.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I've done tons of like volunteer work and stuff to get out in the forest over the years and to get to cool places and all that kind of stuff. And people always ask me if I work in conservation, if I work out in the field and stuff. They think that that's what I do because I'm such a geek about plants. I'm telling them all the species and stuff. I know more than the workers a lot of the time.
Right.
And people actually work out there. And I, kind of ruin it a little bit, for me actually working out there every day. And so at some point I tried to realize, like, where is my part in this? What can I do to try to help? And it's like, well, I can be that person who hopefully, makes somebody realize that it exists, because so many people don't know, just like a most common native Hawaiian tree, and people on Maui don't know what it is. And it's,
oh, wow.
It's kind of, that's kind of crazy. I have no idea what that is.
Huh.
So trying to bring it to, and through my glass, and eventually I luckily, did it for long enough that I had the skills to pull off plants right around the time that I was getting more botanically inclined and stuff. And so that just kind of naturally was like, started doing that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool,
unfortunately, I haven't found any really success with that, sales-wise whatsoever. People like it, and I love it, and it's really fun every year to create them and stuff. But it's kind of like I take 2 months out of my life to create these pieces that then everyone is just like stands like 10 feet back from, because they're so afraid that it's too fragile.
You're right.
And they don't realize that I spent the last 2 months, in and out of a 6,000 degree torch and out of an oven back and forth. It's like it must be pretty tough if it survived me. I am not super gentle with them. But if you're going to make a plant or an insect or something like that, shouldn't it be delicate? If you have the skills to sort of make those welds correctly and make things thin enough, it sure seems like it's a good idea to actually try to do it, a little bit more delicate, because plants are delicate.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's been hard for me because no one wants to buy these things. I can't even find, galleries that will carry my work. Most of my stuff is sitting at home.
Huh, that's crazy.
I won the niche award for flame working last year, and it's like I can't really even get anybody to show the piece that I did. It's a leafy sea dragon, kind of thing, and it's definitely very leafy and crazy. But like I'm really not that worried about shipping it at all. As long as I know my welds are good. That was the very first thing I was taught by my friend who taught me. He would take my turtles and he'd go, "Oh, that's nice," and then he'd flick the fins off at me, and that got the point across.
Oh man, I had the same shit
right
happen
away.
to me, dude. That's so funny.
Yeah,
totally.
Because you're selling to tourists, and to people who their only connotation with glass is their mom yelling at them not to touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then if you make them afraid of it by making something shoddy, it's then they don't blame you as the glass artist. They blame glass, in general. So it's like you shoot all of us in the foot by making a bad product.
Yeah, it's interesting too, thinking about like the correlation to the functional glass scene. Like for the longest time, I was always wanting to get like really detail and like make fragile pieces in a sense, and I always stayed away from it because I was worried about more form over function and stability.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden I started seeing some stuff coming out. I was like, that's like looks so fragile and so whatever, not stable. But then it was selling for a shitload of money, and it was being consistently selling for more money and more money. And look at Buck's work that's out there. It's like his stuff's freaking crazy. It looks like it could just fall apart, but it's really, really strong and durable.
He's still working with a certain size. It's once you get below like 2 mil, stuff gets a lot more fragile.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's definitely staying above that level. He's right there. He's got so many components that it looks scary. But as long as the welds are good, glass is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
You can take 3 little make like a trident, out of kind of thing out of like 1-2 mil glass. And as long as your welds are perfect, try to bend that with your fingers and break it in between. And it's so incredibly strong. Like it takes a lot of force to break it. But if your weld is just slightly off, or you boiled it, or something like that.
Yep.
Just a few things can go wrong to cause that to be that much more fragile. And really all that is laziness most of the time, not having the time to go back and weld that, make that weld perfect, especially now with hand torches. I can't believe I worked with a hand torch without one for I think I only got one like 4 or 5 years ago.
Dude, I got mine like
oh
8 months.
God.
Yeah, I got mine like 8 months ago, bro. I'm like, what the fuck have I been waiting for
Really?
so long? Like, what the hell?
Really?
Yeah, dude. Like, I could do some welds on my
and I bought it
Carlisle,
off of Amazon.
Yeah, totally. What the
like,
hell?
it's ridiculous. Yeah. I've actually bought one for several friends just because they didn't think it was required kits, and I'm like, you'll see.
Yeah, it's that and a blow hose.
You have to
getting your
have
hand
it.
blown. Yeah, you got to. It's a requirement for sure. Man, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
it just should be there. It's a little dangerous too. I just helped Wesley Fleming. I was teacher day, the studio assistant for him at Penland. And all the students having hand torches. It was definitely, I think we had a couple of tweezers laid down on them.
Yeah.
Actually, and yeah, some classes it might not be the best idea for everybody to have hand torches.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of lightsabers around the studio or something. It's crazy shit.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I haven't seen anybody burnt yet. I'm really close to getting myself, because these little orchids that I'm making lately, I'm just pointing it right back in my fingers and stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking more about the piece than my body.
Yeah, the sacrifices we make, right?
Yeah. I haven't got myself I burnt myself last night, but not bad. Just on the kiln. But I haven't got myself with the torch in quite some time.
Good. Yeah, same here, man. Knock on wood. For sure. Yeah, man. So have you looked at like conservatories or botanical exhibits, or like do you guys have like flower shows there or anything like that?
I have, I've definitely thought about that plenty, but out here, those things, are so underfunded that it's really like you got to do everything, and I'd have to like go to another island or something, to do it. It's not super easy on the island here. And in these pieces, that when I'm doing the native ones and stuff, I'm spending, like I said, at least a month, making them, and it's just so many little bits and pieces, and doing all the sort of research ahead of time. And I usually want to go out hiking and actually see the plant again and try to get close to it, and realize that I needed to take a picture of the, where the leaf meets the stem, or how the roots grow, or something like that you can never find a picture of online, because you need to look at the underside of the back of it or something that you realize it doesn't. It's kind of a crucial thing. Trying to find that, because I can't make them perfectly accurate like the Bloshkas did.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
I'm not an alien,
right?
So I'm trying to fudge it, but you try to find the something, the whatever it is that captures the flow of that thing that makes it look like that, and it's
They
tricky. So it's a lot of experimentation.
Yeah, I could imagine, dude. Especially using the colors you're using, but they still have this. Oh shit! I've hit my microphone, making all kind of fucking noise here. I'm like an Italian in here talking about my hands and shit. But yeah, they definitely have like such a sense of realism to them. Like I remember when I was first looking at your work years ago, and I came across it, and I was like, oh my god. It took a couple double takes at your work to realize that it was actually glass. And it's like you're saying with that exhibit at Harvard, it's like, it's amazing how people can create glass that way to be studied by fucking scientists. Like, we're going to create funguses.
I got to go there last year, and it kind of hurt my brain. Like,
I couldn't imagine.
I know it was crazy for me, because I know a bunch of the plants intimately. They had like 5 or 6 plants that are in my backyard here in Hawaii, because he went to Jamaica at one point, so he's got all these tropical species, and there's just, I'm looking at them and I can see all the little things that I notice. It's just like, that's stupid, but that's there. Like, how did they do that? But they had one benefactor that paid for their entire career, their whole lives.
Yeah.
I wish I had that. I could do some pretty awesome stuff if somebody would fund me. That's the thing. I'm so stoked to see that's what's so great about the what's happening in flame working right now, and what's happening in the pipes. It's like everybody's finally getting paid for what they deserve, and so they're actually getting to make these cool pieces that everybody would have got to make one of, and then it would have sat in their case like I'm doing right now. And then they never get to make another one, because they have to go back to making spoons, or for me turtles, geckos, whatever pays the bills.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, because unfortunately life does get in the way at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
And you got to pay the bills. So But then it's trying to maintain that balance of paying the bills and having fun and paying the soul and making the pieces that aren't worth it. And, you know, because there's always going to be those pieces. If you're not making those pieces that aren't making any money, then you're kind of not an artist, I guess. I don't know. You have to do them because you have to do them.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Because they're just going to come out one way or another.
Yeah, it's like an author trying to
write
a book.
But if you're so down from being broke. What's that?
Yeah. I was just saying, it's like an author having to write a book. Like you have these, you know, this story in your head. You just got to get it out and got to put it on paper.
Yeah.
Whether you get paid or not. Yeah, it's interesting though, man. Because like I know, like
do it, but
I know early on in my career when I was first going, and I started off just with the art of it and the sculpture and stuff. But I'm the guy that taught me initially, then introduced me to another glass artist, this guy Daniel Sharp, who gave me some basic foundations for my glass blowing techniques. But it was like, every time I was making this shape of a spoon, I'm like, oh man, this thing would be a really pretty perfume bottle. But then I'm like, well, I know I can make a pipe and sell it. Where the perfume bottle, I might make 50 of them and sell 2 over like 6 months. But I can make 100 pipes and sell them tomorrow, you know, kind of thing. So it's always that, you know, that stupid struggle, which I don't like, but it's just the reality of how business is. You know,
it's always there. It's always there, and I think anyone who thinks that like all the, you know, you take your favorite artist or whatever who you think is super highbrow, and they probably have like an account at Walmart, you know, that like they're selling, you know, corporate artwork or doing photography for them, you know, something like that they just never advertise, you know, but that's how they're actually making the, you know, paying the bills. Everybody's got to make, you know, they got to make their small stuff, and that's how you get the skills. To make, you know, in glass, you know, all these people, you know, one of your interviews, you were talking about kind of going right to, you know, a lot of these guys jumping right up into selling stuff really big. And it's like, you know, you don't even know what, you know, how many color companies out there are, you know, so how it's like you're good, but you're not, I don't know, because art should just be art. It should be whatever you can get away with, and it's cool.
Yeah, to an extent.
But in glass, there does have to be a lot of technique behind it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to have a foundation.
I want to see good seals, good welds, good color, all that stuff, just as much as I want to see, you know, see something creative too. Like it needs to be clean, you know. But I don't know. And then even, you know, you start to see like certain colors that people use, you know, that are kind of like easier to use and stuff like that. You see things different when you're an artist. You're like, oh, that's kind of a cheater color, you know, something that's a little bit.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean for sure.
You know, you look at things different, and when you see somebody using a hard color to use, you know, you give them way more props because you know how, you know, that's way more awkward to do than that one color.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of funny too, man, because like I see a lot of work out there, and you see the pictures of them, and that's all you see, and it's like, holy shit, that thing's amazing. But then when you see it in person, it's like half the size of what you think it was, and then there's like a scratch here and there, or something weird that you didn't expect to see in a picture. You know,
pretty rough.
You know, like we have the Chihuly collection here in town. And, you know, I've seen a lot of his work in person, but, like, when we were installing this collection, I was, like, looking at stuff that had scuff marks on it. I'm like...
Pretty sloppy.
Yeah, I'm like, how in the hell is this a $9 million collection? It's like, we got all of his seconds and our offhand stuff, you know, but it's like...
When we were at Corning, we were in we got sort of a behind-the-scenes tour in the conservatory where they were, like, repairing and restoring pieces, and there was a jewelry somebody had just donated because when they were cleaning it, their thumb had just gone right through it because it was so paper thin.
Oh, wow.
And it was like, you know, it was like a, you know, probably, you know, triple, you know, $100,000 piece at least or something crazy. And it was just blown so thin. Yeah, you know, I like to see. So that, to me, if you're really loving everything, you should have put your hands sort of all over that piece at some point and, like, looked at it and, like, I feel like I do that at just about everything that comes out of the kiln. Like, you know, I'm stoked, even when I just make dumb little frit pendants or something that are, you know, so boring and so basic to me or whatever, I'm still excited to open the kiln and see what they look like in the morning, you know.
Yeah, I love that shit. Even after
I remember watching a video of Chihuly breaking pieces and him just, like, breaking individual pieces, and it was just like, and he didn't care. It was like, oh, I like the curve on that one, you know. I'd be so bummed that that one broke. Like... You know, I can't believe, you know, that you would just like Like, I don't know. And I get the whole thing. It's a different way of thinking. That the whole thing is the whole thing and doesn't matter. And it's the beauty of looking at it from afar or something. It doesn't have to be, I don't know. Seems like if you're selling something for over $100,000, you shouldn't just put your thumb to it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I think, that's what's
or
fun.
Click off the fence.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah. And that's what I think is the beauty with the functional glass scene really is because not only are you buying the piece because of function, but you're buying it because then you sit there and you look at this thing up close and personal and really become intimate with the art of it and really know it inside and out. And if there's any flaws or anything weird in that, you're going to find them. But then at the same time, for some people, they love the flaws. They like the fact that it's got a flaw because it's now, it makes it original or one of a kind or,
Well, nothing will ever be perfect. There's always going to be, and God, I'll pick out, a million wrong things with everything on my pieces. Come on. kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's interesting. So how was that class that you and Wesley did? What was that? That was at Penland, you said?
Yeah, it was really fun. We basically did the same thing last year at Corning, too.
Okay.
That was my first time actually meeting Wesley. We'd been friends from the old school lamp workers discussion board from way back in the day. And so he asked me to do that last year and then asked me to do it again. It's just been really fun. I love traveling, and I don't get to do it much recently. So it's just a good excuse to get out there and get sort of be at Corning, be at Penland, get your name in those places. I feel like I'm a little isolated out here doing what I'm doing, and the scene's getting so big, and I'm sort of out here by myself. So it's like I got to get my name out there, get my face out there, get my glass out there, all that kind of stuff. So it felt like a really good opportunity to go do that, and both of the times it's been really fun. I mean, Wesley's amazing. If anybody doesn't know his work, go check it out. Wesley Fleming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. At Vetrobod on Instagram, and he's just like it's amazing. It's kind of tricky because a class like that, it's one of those things that it's like, man, you got to sit here for 10 years to be able to make a weld like that. Like what he's doing in soft glass, it has to be done perfect, right the first time to do it that small. But everybody can pull something off, and it was really fun, really cool to see.
Nice.
It's tricky for me because I don't work in soft glass, and he does, and so the teacher's aid, I tried trying that and totally filmed like a beginner and everything.
Yeah.
It was definitely tricky.
Yeah,
Funny little burns on my arms from Moretti rods exploding on there.
Man, a couple months, I guess it was 2 months ago, I was working over at Disney, and in the Mexican Pavilion at Epcot is where I was when I first started working there, was my home base, and now we have our jewelry makers, the bead makers that do all of our stuff that's in there. And so I went there to cover a shift on a Sunday, and my manager knew I was going but didn't send any Boro there. It was all soft glass, and it was all Moretti. So I just did like mandrel beadwork all day, and it was dude, I was like, I made a fucking mess, everywhere. There was little shits.
Had you ever done it before?
Not too much, really. I've done some stuff, but I was always like, I don't like this shit. I'm burning it,
It's fun.
Oh yeah, it was a challenge.
It's fun. It's different. The colors are beautiful.
Oh man, the palette's incredible. I know. Yeah, so it was.
They all have their pros and cons. I got to play around with a couple of rods of like cooler color, like 96 COE, what they're like working on the furnace that Wes had, and I liked that a lot better. That felt kind of a little bit more stable to me, and the colors were still vibrant and beautiful and really cool. But and then I thought that would be actually interesting to learn because then potentially people could actually incorporate it into the furnace work. Could be
Be
cool.
Yeah, doing slump work or whatever, all kind of stump sucking stuff and everything else with it.
Yeah. It's kind of most of that stuff's in that range from the Mount COE. It's just the colors are just so different than Boro, so it's always fun to see when you're used to your color palette and how crazy
totally.
It can be.
Yeah, it was weird, man. Like certain colors, transparent colors I was using that like I guess I burnt them out and they got like gray and more opaque than I was expecting them to come out, and trying to burn off that that burn that I did made it even worse, So I had like these awesome purples that were then gray and brown afterwards, It was It was a ton of fun, especially when you're in front of people watching you. I was just like,
Oh,
the whole day I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna have fun and just do it.
Are you good with that? You must be good with that, because I never was. I did it for 11 years at that shop, and I never, ever got used to people, like, staring at me. I'm like a private kind of person, doesn't really like, I don't know. It was hard for me.
Yeah, it's interesting. And what I find, too, is that because we have 3 different places that we do work there, like, I started off at the Renaissance Festival, so it was already, like, thrown to the wolves with demonstration stuff, But then, with the Disney thing, I mean, I literally, when I was in Mexico, we would have, like, 40,000 plus people come through in like 2-3 days, come through our store.
Wow.
And no, not everybody stood there and watched, but there was times where I had like 50, 60 people crammed into our store watching me make Olaf or whatever I'm making. And, like, I always find like the first piece.
That's almost anonymous though at that point though. That's so many.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's weird. But, like, I always find no matter where I'm at working there, the very first piece I'm always overly anxious and a little nervous about. And then once I get past that first piece, I'm good to go. But it's getting through the first piece from the very beginning that, like, sets my whole day off. But it's also, I find, like, I don't know, it's weird. It's a weird thing.
I'm really shaky around anyone for the first time. Like, the first time of the day, even, same thing. Like, it's weird. If it's just like friends, like somebody who doesn't do glass, like nothing, I'll just start working, and like my hands are a little shaky anyway. But when I get like just somebody new, or I did a demo at AGI years ago, and it was like just hundreds of my peers in the audience, and first time meeting Robert Mickelson and Lewis Wilson watching, and Steve Sizemore was there, and everybody had. And I was so nervous. I mean, the rods were just clinging, 2 inches, like trying to, stick one end to another end. And it was like I hit it 2 inches up the rod or something. But yeah, give it a couple of minutes and it usually fades.
Shit.
I'm a little bit nervous for my upcoming class I'm going to be teaching in Seattle in November, because I'm like that. It is my first time teaching a real class. Even I've taught so many people over the years and stuff, but
yeah.
I'm worried that I'm gonna look real shaky for the first 15 minutes or so. Hopefully, people give me that little bit to finally look like I'm a professional.
Yeah, get your warm up. I always find like that kind of situation when I'm teaching classes. I'll go ahead and get started on the torch before the class starts. So like as the students are filing in, I'm already on the torch and they're like coming in and getting situated. And, I'm just like saying hi to everybody as they're coming in. It's
right on. Yeah. That's what I was thinking about doing, because that actually usually helps too. Yeah. Once you're already doing, rather than just getting on when you're on, everybody's staring at you.
Yeah, when you're cold and they're looking for you being nervous, and is he nervous? Is he shaking because he's got too much coffee in him? Like they start questioning.
Yeah,
you, or at least you think they're questioning you.
I'm gonna be. Oh yeah, so they are. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, man.
But I think everybody's stoked to see everything. So I'm just stoked to watch anybody anytime. So
yeah, I'm in the same boat.
That's what I go to those things just to watch. So
yeah. Well, hey, dude, tell us about the class a little bit more. Kind of explain about that, because you got a platform here to talk about.
Yeah. I've been teaching people over the years, at that shop, kind of anybody who would come in new and start, I'd kind of give them the training, and most of the people, like I said, were kind of just doing it as a job, super into it and stuff until Jennifer Umfus started working there, and got to give her some of her, first couple of years of instruction. She took off right away, and she's taught me, probably more than I've taught her over the years. But got to give her first instruction. And then my friend Nathan Belmont, who's here on the island, got to, kind of teach him over the years little bits and at that shop and stuff too. And he's actually going to come along and TA for me. So that's cool to have a little backup too, because we kind of do the shop that we all started out of, we put on color a little different. We encase things different, and just for some reason I've never seen anybody else do it exactly the same way, and I don't understand why, because it seems like it's a good way to do it. It seems like everything's been done, and I'm sure there are other people that do it, but so just to have a slightly different mentality coming from that background of it. So I think it'll be really helpful for people, this whole sculptural knowledge set hopefully I can impart that on people. And,
oh yeah, I'm sure you will.
And yeah, I like to blab, if you can't tell. So
hey, yeah, blabbing's good.
End up talking.
So what kind of?
I like to when I like to get taught stuff. I like a deep description of something. I don't like just the answer of something. I'm a big fan of the Carl Sagan quote of to make an apple pie from scratch, you have to create the universe first.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always a few other things behind it. So, if you can explain to me that the glass, the yellow likes to boil, because cadmium, is cadmium in it. It likes to, sublime at 1700 degrees, and you're working it above that. And so if you can baby it a little bit, that actually makes more sense than just saying the yellow glass doesn't like to be overheated.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like a little bit more description, and so I hopefully I can, other people like that as well, and it's not too long-winded.
No, dude. And then when it comes down to it, like you got, there's so much science involved in this glass world. Besides the engineering and everything else involved in it, you got to know properties and why things do what they do. Why does Crayola colors or the crayon colors, whatever I fucking call them, why do the cadmiums boil like they do? Or, why do certain colors reduce? Mm-hmm. Why do certain colors overstrike or understrike? Why does silver work the way it does? Why does gold work? It's like you can give some.
And it used to just be magic.
Yeah,
but
totally.
Like now we actually can learn. People are finally sharing all that knowledge.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's all share it, as much as we can.
Yeah, the alchemy is
so
important.
Because there's a lot of myths and outright lies and bullshit out there in the glass world, and and there is always a little bit of magic to everything we do. So that's why everybody says, oh, don't kiln. Just I've heard it for so many years. You can't put green in the kiln for more than like a day or something like that. And I've had my pieces in like hundreds of hours, and I use more green than most people because I make plants.
Right.
Yeah. But it's different than blown work. I had made this awesome Sherlock the other day. So stoked on it, and it totally cracked. Yeah. And it's because I used this like sparkly green mix that I made up, and I'm mixing my own colors together, and I think it would work fine in solid. But I think the sort of the way that hollow stuff, heating, reheating, the structure of that, the thinness, the getting up back to 1050, cooling off, all that creates different stress than it does on something that's solid. It's actually a different, there are fundamental differences to working solid to working hollow.
Yeah, completely. Especially the fact that you're stretching the medium itself, like expanding the molecule structure and going beyond a point that it was even manufactured at from the beginning of it. It's like, oh my God, what the fuck is this?
And then reheating it and compressing that again and then blowing it out again.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like those like little molecule lines are stretched, and frayed and stretched and frayed. And I think there's a certain strain point that it's hard to come back from. Mm-hmm. If you've hit, just stress things out too far, there's no coming back from it.
Yeah, exactly. It gets that weird memory.
Yeah, so you never know. There's look at Lino Tagliapietra, working on 80 years old. I watched him at the Tacoma Glass Museum working on his 80th birthday. It's like there's always more stuff to learn.
Yep.
There's you should be able to creating new stuff and constantly. Anybody who just says, "Oh, well, that's the way," I found this way works for me. It's like if that's the end of your learning, then that's the end of your art. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
There's a million more things to do.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's amazing. Like every day I learn something new, even if it's just like a fine tuning a technique or using my left hand instead of my right hand for something. Like just little stupid shit that comes up. It's like, wow, I didn't even think about that. It's pretty cool. I definitely dig it.
Yeah, definitely.
So
and that's what I love about taking classes, and going to these things is not necessarily I'm gonna the first day I'm gonna teach leaps and because I think it's a really good way to learn layering color the way I do it. So all my leaps are like 3 layers of color usually, so you just get this really interesting depth, and you can come up with so many color combos and things. So I'm going to work on that, and then orchids and plants and things like that. And I think, those sort of little fundamentals you get, by doing something simple back and forth. And that's going to be at the Borough School in Seattle, November 7th to 9th. For anybody, there's still open slots. And my brother Nathan Belmont's coming. He does awesome, crazy sculptural stuff and totally different styles than I do, but still in a similar theme, and we work in a similar way. So if I can't answer questions, he's going to be there to answer them.
Nice.
So it should be fun.
Yeah, man, I'm stoked. Yeah, just kind of a real quick, interesting story. You mentioning Jennifer Umphris. She was a catalyst into me getting my job at Disney, kind of a thing. When I was first learning, because I started off with sculpture, but then I really jumped into the hollow glass, and my fine-tuning skills for my sculpture work really wasn't there. And I knew the Disney gig was mostly sculpture. Like, we don't do a lot of blown glass there, except for in the furnace area. I did do some, I did a hand-blown slipper, and I did Cinderella's carriage. Like, there were some things I did that were blown glass, but most of it's all sculpture. And at the time, I was really learning how to make octopus or octopi, and I saw Jennifer's work and was just completely blown away by how amazing her octopus are. And so I was trying to find my way in that of my style and what I was going for, and I could almost find it. And I was I hit her up one day. I was asking her some specific questions, and she gave me very specific, detailed answers on response on how to further my my learning what I'm doing and figuring it out. And it got to a point where I was when I did my interview, my initial going there and showing them my work, I had this amazing, really nice octopus sculpture that I made. And that was really what helped me get in there, was that they could see, because a lot of the stuff we sell there is sea life and fish sculptures and turtles and what have you. So that was a big point.
Octopus shows you got skill too, because that's not an easy critter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree. So I was definitely, once I got the job, and I was actually given the yes, I got the gig 3 months later. She was the first person that I hit up as thank you so much for your insight kind of thing. So,
yeah, right on.
So knowing that she got her skills in a sense and foundation through you, it's kind of a fun little circle.
I probably showed her how to make octopus, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I've made them forever, but her style is so different. Like I said, she immediately knew that's what she was doing and just took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And she really started doing those kind of octopus a little bit more after she moved to Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah, she's doing amazing stuff now. She's gotten to a whole nother level doing cast work and all kinds of cool stuff. She's a real artist.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
She's amazing.
So what other extracurricular activities in Hawaii are you into?
Mainly just hiking, getting outdoors. I'm not as much of a beach person, but I do enjoy that a little bit. But definitely, I got a day off. I'm thinking about going up to the jungle, getting up on a ridge somewhere in the mud and in the scratchy ferns, and looking through my crazy zoom lens at a plant growing 1,000 foot up on a wall and trying to figure out what species it is.
That's awesome. Yeah, that
kind of crazy.
Incredible.
Yeah.
It sounds incredible, dude. Hell, it's fucking awesome.
You got to keep yourself entertained somehow. It is an island. It's got a 10,000 foot tall mountain and a 6,000 foot tall mountain. So there's a lot of room to explore, but it's still pretty small. So it's you get stuck doing the same trails with going to the same place all the time, and you can't leave the island easy. So you got to find a way to make it entertaining. And being into plants is like making every hike, everything's a treasure hunt. I got something I'm kind of looking for.
Yeah.
Having all these cool endemic plants makes it really interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I know, when I travel, I try to find botanical gardens wherever I'm going, just for native plants in that area, because I'm the same way. I'm a big plant nerd. And I remember when we went down to Honduras and came across, they had a botanical thing there, and it was just completely mind-blowing. This the size of the ginger plants and the hibiscus and everything. It was just it's just gorgeous.
Yeah, the bromeliads.
Yeah,
the tropics are a whole other thing. I grew up watching National Geographic and all that stuff, and anytime I remember there was jungle things, tropical things, that was definitely always what I was really interested in. And so when I came here, I remember my first real day up in the jungle. It was kind of I think it was still January, and I'm sitting in a river eating a guava. It was just kind of, I knew that this was the place. 5,000 foot cliffs on either side, water, 1,000 foot water fall over here, and it's pretty epic all around. Just looking out in the backyard, I still never fail to realize how beautiful it is here. It is bumming me out though. It is. I keep telling everybody is, when I tell people I'm from Hawaii, I always get the sort of like oh, so poor you kind of thing, or they're jealous or whatever. And it has it's definitely got its cons here too. And I'm thinking about even leaving here at some point, just because it's not good for glass. My career's not getting any further here. And I was telling you, Oxy is, I haven't bought it in a long time, but I had somebody new to the island went in, and Airgas quoted them $190 for a K-tank.
It's crazy.
For a fill. and liquids above 800 for the smaller one. So, I got a concentrator 7 years ago or something, and took my tanks into them and flipped them off and walked away because I hate those guys. Mm-hmm. They're not only are they too expensive, but they're like one of the worst businesses I've ever dealt with. Anyway, they're no fun.
Yeah, it's fucked
and
up.
So it makes it really, really hard out here.
Yeah,
they just treat you like dirt.
Well, dude, that's anywhere.
Oh
shit, that's like
really.
Yeah.
I thought it was just Hawaii because I was a Hawaii.
Oh no, dude, I was
getting treated like dirt.
No, it's everybody. They immediately they're like they're, and it sucks because they have like a monopoly in this country for being the oxygen suppliers. Mm-hmm. I fortunately have a mom and pop I deal with, and they get their shit filled at Airgas, but I deal directly with the mom and pop that I've been dealing with for over 10 years, and they're awesome,
Nice.
So it makes a big difference, pricing wise.
There's not the call for it out here. There's not the volume of use, so it's just there's nobody doing it. So it makes it hard for me. This concentrator I have this Vigalia is what it's called. I got it from Kimberly Horn at Pyronamics, and it's a 10 liter per minute unit. It works really good, and but it's still, I've got a Phantom and a GTT, and it only runs the center fire, the links, at probably like 75%.
Okay.
Of what a lynx could be.
Yeah.
But I can turn on the outer oxygen a little bit, so it actually feels hotter than just a lynx to me. But for 99% of what I do, even if I was on tank oxygen, that's actually fine for me.
Yeah, the detail stuff. Yeah, makes sense.
But now that I'm trying to get into blown work, and I've been trying to make pipes these last couple months, and it's just like, man, I need a big bushy fluffy flame, and I can't get it. There's just no way. And so I need to get one of those, invest in the high volume oxygen thing. I've been thinking about that for a long time, but
yeah, it's a good investment.
Up and down. Yeah, definitely. I'll get it soon enough.
Hell yeah.
There's no other option out here, so.
Yeah,
but
man.
I don't mind. I like what I do. I like making small little plants and stuff, and it's different. And I'm really hoping that a lot of these people that seem to be only interested in functional stuff, they realize that you got your daily driver piece that you hit and you're all stoked on, and then you can set it down and you can stare at my piece that isn't necessarily functional but is really cool. You could have it sitting on the shelf there and enjoy it. And what's so cool about what the pipe movement is doing is people finally know what Flameworks glass is.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I deal with tourists all day long, and like nobody knows what glass is, and then they really don't like Flameworks glass. I mean, they like it, but they don't see the worth in it. It's not big and heavy, and it looks delicate, and it has just a lot of things going against it for the average person to sort of to not make it feel like a good value proposition to them. And they just don't understand how long it took you to, do this and get good at it and all these things. It just don't have any connotation with. But the pipe scene is just training people, to understand. If I see somebody under 30, under 20 come into my shop and they got a beard and tattoos, like I know that somebody's going to be stoked on what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
exactly.
like almost everybody else is like a total crapshoot. What kind of attitude I'm going to get from them about it? Some people are affronted by the price. Oh my God, is this $60?
Yeah.
It's like, yes. Spent 20 years getting to the point where I can make that.
Yeah, exactly. Just have another zero next to it, honestly.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel like that's what I have to do. Like that's the only thing that's holding me back. It's just that I'm not like owning the fact that my pieces should have 2 extra zeros on them.
Mm-hmm.
Something, and then maybe people will care that they're precious. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, dude, that's the whole thing. It's like that perception. Like I remember when I was doing the whole True Holy thing, and I was really studying because I did all of our education programs and did like the docent training and tours and stuff, and doing like a lot of studying on like his marketing and his life, and like it took him 13 years to sell his first really big piece. But
yeah.
He had to go to the museums he was selling to, or the galleries that the shit was consigned at, or whatever, and went in there and added zeros to everything and sold every fucking thing that was in there to sell.
Yeah.
Just by adding a zero, because it meant that this thing is more valuable, whether it is or not.
All of a sudden, it's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's so weird.
Yeah, and it is. It is worth it. You know.
Yep.
It's like it is and it isn't. You know, it's not worth anything, so it's worth whatever it is.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
It's somebody doing something that they love and doing it cool and making it good, and I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, and art. Andy Warhol said art is what you can get away with, and I always, think that works pretty well.
Yeah, it does, absolutely. It's that whole concept too. Like if you're, because we are a trade also as being a flame worker, in a sense. So you think about like a plumber or a welder or an electrician who's been doing it for 20 years. They're making like $200 an hour. So we should be doing the same thing if you've got that much time and experience into what you're doing.
I would hope, yeah. And still yet I second guess myself and feel like I'm in art, class in high school and like, really, you want to buy my thing I made?
Yeah, it is.
And I should not have that attitude because I've been doing it for long enough. But I don't know. I still care about it enough that I feel like that. It's like it still feels personal and precious and small, and it's hard to turn it into a corporate thing, Or,
yeah, it is definitely.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting parody. It's the whole like, I want to be confident and know my value of my work, but then I want to be not so confident because I'm not sure if I am confident. It's like the whole imposter syndrome thing. It's kind of a weird. I don't know. It's a predicament that I sometimes don't like and don't want to deal with it, and so I just, I don't. So, which is why I have distributors sometimes. That I deal with. Makes it easier.
Yeah, I'm starting to realize I think I need somebody else to speak for me. Sometimes because to the right people, I can talk about myself to the end client, but not to the shops. And I don't know. I don't have really any relationships with any shops right now because nobody has ever really done well with me or worked with me all that great. And then it's just hard to do anything on the mainland. There's only so many things to do out here. So many galleries, places to actually work with on the island.
Yeah,
and then it's really hard to deal with anybody else.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, just so you know, man, we are at the 52-minute mark.
Right on. Hey, actually, my mom was just asking me if I can answer a question for her.
Yeah.
Let me, since we're at a pause point here, hold on. Yeah. Sorry. I got to give a shout out to my mom. Like, I wouldn't be able to make anything that I make if it wasn't for her. Like, I'm a single dad right now, and if she wasn't my backup, like it would be really, really tricky. So,
hell yeah.
But it's tough maintaining those things all the time, trying to figure out, make everybody happy, and trying to work and do this and take a break and stuff.
Yeah, man, work-life balance is really hard when you're self-employed. It's such a tricky thing. Like, I hear it all the time on these podcasts I listen to. These guys that are multimillionaires, they're still like, I would rather sometimes just be home with my family. It's an interesting predicament too. The same thing. It's like it's a constant battle of wanting to be in the studio, being creative, or enjoying the family time.
Yeah, well, it's part of being an artist too. It's having a home business. I think is the same. It's that you could always be working.
Yep.
And so I'm kind of constantly fighting guilt at all times, because if I'm not working, then I could be working, and if I'm working, then I could be hanging out with my daughter, and if I'm asking my mom to babysit, then I'm putting her out, and it's like, but she wants to do it, but I feel this constant struggle between maintaining all of that. So you never quite feel comfortable. You're always kind of stuck in the middle, and I'm never ahead, and there's always 20 ideas that are left behind, and you know. And then just want to make it work good for a month or something like yeah. I'm very much that way. I have a really hard time, like, you know, I couldn't ever make 50 of something, you know, even like and maintaining a schedule. It's like it's kind of either working or it's not.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to make something if you don't want to make it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've gotten custom orders before where I was like, man, I should not have taken that order because I do not want to make that, or I got it and then like I go to make it and I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling it, you know, type of thing.
Yeah. Custom orders are real. I've gotten really good at saying no over the years because it is not easy to make everybody happy in those situations. I have to be really sure that person understands that the glass never does what I think it's going to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So it doesn't do what you think I'm going to do with it. You know.
Yep, it's got to go along for the ride.
And it's something that I can sell, you know, afterwards. That I'm confident that I can sell no matter what. You know, so that way everybody's happy because you know you don't want to buy something that you don't like either. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's tricky.
Yeah, it sure is, man. It's all very tricky. That's why I was kind of glad to move out of my garage and get out actually into a studio space because, like, I was the same way. Like, I get up in the morning and do yard work or play with my animals or my wife or kids or whatever, and I'm like, damn, I could be out there working on this so-and-so's order and instead of being out here. But then I knew I could do it at night instead. But then I go do it at night and I'm a little more tired because I was playing all day. You know, it's like, you know, it sucks.
Yep, I hear you.
Yeah, I'm definitely not.
There's no winning. But it's just trying to trying to not beat yourself up about it. I think is the most important part. You know, trying to actually not feel all that guilt, you know, because it's just there. You know, it's not doing any good. So, and it's just life. It's all good. Everything's kind of gray, and there's no one right way to do anything. Just like glass, you know, there's a million ways to go at everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that whole makes us human element too. You know, it's like if we're not experiencing this emotion, then maybe we shouldn't be doing it because we should be experiencing this emotion. Makes us feel, you know, humble and human at the same time. You know. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and being humble, I think, is a good thing, especially in the glass world. Yeah.
You use a touch more of it in some cases, you know, but it's tough when everybody's, you know, loving you.
Yeah, I know.
Stay humble.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've always been told I'm a little bit too humble sometimes with certain things. I'm like, oh, I didn't know there's such a thing, but like, I'm not a pushover, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Well, I don't think that's a bad quality. Not in my book.
Yeah, awesome. Hell yeah, dude. Well, I guess to kind of move forward, before we kind of do that, I'm going to take a quick break to thank our sponsors, and we will be right back. All right, we're back. So,
cool.
Yeah, dude. I can sit and talk to you all night, brother, but I am fucking exhausted. So,
right on. Yeah, definitely.
Just being almost midnight. So, yeah, dude. So let's jump into this lightning round here. But I definitely want to do a little follow up too with you after your class that you do. So I'm really curious to talk about that process of being of teaching a class. Because I know a lot of people out there are interested in getting out and doing demos and teaching and whatever. So I think it'd be kind of fun to discuss the process of how you went about setting it up, or if they contact, you know, like go through the whole story of like how that came to be, how you came to be asked to be a teacher at this specific thing. If you're up for it, you know, I think it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I talked about it a little bit kind of in that, you know, it's really Wes asking me to do it, you know, and it was like, I kind of did that thinking that I'm going to go learn how to take it. That's why I'm taking a class on how to teach a class.
Right.
Kind of thing. Because he's done it before. I'd like to go see how he did it.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, it is going to be my first real class. So.
Yeah, that's why I think I'd like to do it. Yeah, because even if it's a horror story, let's fucking talk about it. You know.
I hope not. So far, there's only 3 people signed up for it, but I think, you know, most of the time this time of year, especially, I'd imagine it's like going to be last minute. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
And I don't, quite frankly, and I can have up to 12 people. 12 people might be a little bit overwhelming. So.
Yeah, that sounds crazy. I could do like 6. That's like my max. My classes was 6.
Yeah.
That was all I could handle.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had 8 at Penland.
Well, you have an assistant though, which helps. That's I was always on my own.
Yeah, and Nathan will be there helping me. So.
Yeah, makes a big difference.
Really nice.
All right, man. Well,
right on.
Yeah, let's get into our favorite part of the show. It's the lightning round, and I'm still working on another name for this cliche lightning round term. So I don't know. I'm just gonna light the torch or start the killing up or begin the annealing process or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out down the road. But for now, we're gonna call it the lightning round. So, and in the lightning round, it consists of half dozen or so questions, and I just need a 30 to 60 second answer, and you can expound upon them if you'd like, as we always do. And just kind of have fun with it, man. And the first question is, if there is any living glass artist that you have not worked with, who is it and why?
Oh, man. I've heard you say this question so many times, and now that I'm put on the spot. There's so many people right now, it's just kind of overwhelming to, see, every day. I feel like I find somebody new that I'm like, oh, they must be new. And it's like they've got 100,000 followers on Instagram or something. And I just can't believe it. So, I don't know. I'm always looking for people who I feel like, styles mesh together kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So, I'd love to work with some, of the lady glass blowers. I was just looking at Delene Peralta's work. I'd love to look at her, or Lace Face, or, I feel like, my stuff tends to be a little bit more feminine. So I don't know.
Cool.
They'd be fun.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. So what are your top 5 favorite colors in glass?
I'm staring at all my glass colors right now. That's asking who's your favorite child. God, I don't know. Overall, the ones that I end up ordering, more often than not are probably Cobalt 6, or I used to use Turbo, but Cobalt 6, just super dense cobalt blue is so nice. And Jet Black I use a ton of. And Jackpot is probably one of my favorite colors right now. Just because I kind of mix my own custom sparkly rods with it. And I don't use it on its own all that much. I mix other colors together with it.
Nice.
Because it's just such a nice, dense sparkle. Let's see, that's 3. Gosh, I don't know. I love a chartreuse crayon, actually, is another favorite for leaves. That's always a nice color. And then I'm really enjoying the Illuminati just as an overlay color for me, even not using it for its UV qualities. It's a popping yellow-green that I can put over the top of yellow and protect the cadmium from boiling, and it doesn't, dilute the color kind of thing. So I'm having fun with that right now. But I use everything, everybody's colors. The only colors I don't tend to use are amber purples and striking colors. I don't really have much use for things that I don't know what I'm gonna get. If I keep reheating them.
Yeah, you're very
kind of antithetical to my style.
Yeah, it makes sense. Absolutely.
So I love them. I just don't find myself using them all that much. But I love them all. Every company, everybody's.
Beautiful. So if you could describe the sound of glass cracking in one word, what is it?
It's whatever the sound being kicked in the nuts sounds like. Because it really is that kind of just horrible side ache, like wind knocked out of you kind of thing that's painful at the same time. I don't know.
Hey, that works for me, dude. So what's the worst injury you've had in the glass studio?
Stuck my hand in the torch twice over the years, and those are probably the worst, but really not too bad. Just kind of quick little flip my hand over real fast into it. But probably the most fun one was when I can't remember exactly what I was doing, but just had a rod that had a crack in it, pushing two things together or something, making a Maria kind of thing or something, I can't remember. And the rod broke off, and I just shoved it right into my thumb. And I'm really bad with blood. Like, my whole family has a bad history of blood. I think I like turned the torch off, walked out into the gallery. Nathan, my buddy, was working, and I like sat down in a chair next to him, threw up in the garbage can, and passed out in front of him. And it really wasn't that bad of a cut, It was some jagged glass and stuff. It wasn't super nice looking, but
oh shit.
Yeah. So that was a fun one. But nothing too bad.
Oh man,
Really.
Fuck. That's awesome. Oh shit. So are you a TV or a radio guy in the studio?
I do it all. I'm out here so much, and I like media and stuff. So I've got Spotify, I've got my podcast, I got audio books. I've been doing Audible forever, so sorry I couldn't give you
Hey, it's all good.
a deal on there. And I hooked up a PC out here, and I got a 37-inch TV in front of the bench, that I actually use mostly for putting pictures up and stuff when I'm trying to figure out sketches and things. But I'll turn on Netflix and things when it's only stuff that I've watched before. It's the only thing I can, it's basically I'm just listening to it.
Yeah,
so.
Same here, exactly.
But I get bored of podcasts. I get bored of music. I get bored of audiobooks. It's like I gotta mix it up.
Yeah.
But I do have a hard time just sitting in silence. That's the one thing I can't do.
Yeah, man, me too. Like I do. Well, sometimes if something stops playing, I'm in the middle. My hands are full. I can't do anything about it. But yeah, I'm the same way. Like I'm all about putting on documentary series, like Ancient Aliens or some shit, and listen to 2 years worth of that stuff on or whatever. It's fun.
Yeah. Oh man, I got HBO now when it came out, and I did all the Vice episodes and a week or something, just all this documentary knowledge of all the horrible stuff going on in the world, and it was like, oh my god, what do I do with this knowledge? It's kind of you absorb a lot when you're sitting here. It's kind of dangerous.
Yeah,
you got to be careful binge watching documentaries.
I know. I tell my kids the same thing. They're both young. I'm like, you guys gotta stop watching some of this shit because it is complete horse shit what you're watching, and you're gonna believe half the things you see.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a lot of crap out there in the world. I'm a skeptical leaning person.
Yeah, it's entertaining, but horseshit.
Yeah. Try not to buy into too much stuff or jump on it too many bandwagons.
Yeah, exactly. So our last and final question for you is: if you were stranded on an island, it could be any island, deserted, resort, whatever, Hawaii, obviously, and got your glass studio, and all you have is a kiln, your oxygen, propane, and a torch. What 5 tools would you bring?
My mashers. I squish glass a lot. I've got these weird custom-made mashers you can snap up.
Sweet.
Yeah, I need those. Yeah. I better bring my glasses. You're always saying that. So I better bring my glasses. And I use these little teeny tweezers. I've posted them on Instagram a couple times. They're $3.50. I think they're for picking up stamps. Is what they're specifically for. They sell them at Mountain Glass. These little teeny tweezers with little flat ends. And I have 10 of them sitting out on my bench. They're all kind of different shapes at the ends when you buy them, and I use those things for everything. So a pack of 10 of those.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure I could find something to squish glass on. I better bring some glass. I don't know, my whole color collection. Can I do that?
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, all my current glass.
Awesome. Hell yeah, dude. Well, it's been a pleasure, brother, as always. And if I wasn't so tired, being again, those that don't realize, him and I are 6 hours apart, time zone wise. So it's midnight here and 6 o'clock there. So yeah, it's all good though. Well worth staying up and getting this in here. But yeah, man.
Yeah, anytime. I love talking glass, so I don't know. I love podcasts where it's just people hanging out, a bunch of people get together every week and talk about whatever they're thinking about. I don't know if you ever want to do something like that, but
dude, I'm all about it.
It'd be fun too.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually, just kind of a side note, too, I'm going to be starting some mastermind groups here pretty soon, and I'd love to have you on board, dude. Like, I've got 3 guys already lined up, and I'm looking for one more person, so I can, I'll be in touch about that, because it'd be fun to have you on and a part of that, and basically it's going to be, 5 guys talking about glass and business and life and how to better ourselves,
Cool.
And they're all family,
Right on.
they're all guys that have kids, too, so it's an important thing.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, exactly. Hell yeah, dude. So
deal.
before we let you go, if you want to give us any parting piece of advice to the newbies and the OGs out there, and then also where we can find you in cyberspace.
Just keep making more work, enjoy it, and have fun, and be a geek. Find something that you're a geek about, and then you've got a subject to impart on your glass, something to then take. If you're just a geek about the glass, that's cool too, but it helps to have something else to bring to that. So that's a good one. Yeah. And then I've got a website, JupiterNielsenFlameworking.com. You can probably just Google Jupiter Glass Maui, any of those things together, and it should come up. And because everybody spells my last name wrong. And same thing on Instagram. It's just Jupiter Nielsen on there. My last name is Nielsen. Literally spelled it wrong on my birth certificate, and the doctor corrected it. You can see it. But yeah, that's kind of. I mainly, I people can friend me on Facebook, but I don't really have a page, and I don't post there much. I really enjoy Instagram, just being photos, and I love the feedback I get from people and stuff. So search for me on Instagram.
Hell yeah, and I'll have all this, all the links and info in the show notes as well for you guys, so make it easier for you.
And then the Bolero School is my upcoming class, November 7th to 9th. Check out them. They got an Instagram, and they got a good website. Sign up on there, and they got Mark Lamley's coming next month. I wish I could go take that class.
Okay. Sweet, dude. Well, yeah, man, it's been a lot of fun. And my, I guess my next goal, really, before you leave there, if you ever decide to move back to the States, is for me to come visit before you do that. So.
Yeah, anytime. Anybody who comes out to Hawaii, please come say hi. I'm always bummed when I hear somebody came to the island and didn't say hi. I just had some folks here the other day. I took them out hiking and stuff. So just because they were on Instagram said hi.
Oh man, I'd love to come have you give me a fucking tour of the nature there.
Yeah, I actually enjoy being tour guide. So give me a reason.
Yeah, dude, I'm buying tickets right now.
Sweet. This is a pretty good, cheap time of year. It's actually a good time, actually, right, like August, September,
is it?
November. Okay. Yeah, flights are empty, cheap. Hotels are cheaper. Cheap is relative.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Cool. Well, that's good to know. I'll put that on my notes here because I definitely want to get out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome, dude. Well, enjoy your evening, or I guess coming into your evening now. And
yeah, you too.
Yeah,
good.
I'm gonna go to bed.
Cool. All right, man.
Hell
Thanks
yeah,
for talking to you.
Yeah, likewise, dude.
Appreciate
and once I get the show will be out on Monday, so I'll get it all edited up and I'll send you a link. Do you have an iPhone or a Droid?
iPhone.
Okay, cool. I'll send you the iTunes link. Even though you already subscribed to the show, but I'll give you the link anyways. That way you can share it.
I use a podcast aggregator.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The built-in ones never work good for me. So, but then it sucks for everybody because then I don't give them star ratings or thumbs up on Stitcher or any of those other things. So
yeah.
I do feel bad, but yeah.
All
But
good.
I actually I give at least one of my a podcast like Patreon, like give them $1 a month, because I really like what they do and I feel like they're not it's the only way they're going to keep doing it, kind of thing. So maybe something to look into too. There's always a few nice people.
Okay, hell yeah, right on, man. Well, thanks again. Hope everybody enjoyed this conversation with old Jupiter Nielsen. Hey, real quick, dude, I meant to ask you earlier. Your name, is that where'd that come from?
I thought there was more of a story behind it. It is on my birth certificate. It's Jupiter Orca Nielsen too. There's lots of orcas out in the San Juan Islands where I'm from, Washington. So that's that. But Jupiter was literally like they were going alphabetically through through the dictionary and like naming out names, and Jupiter was one that they got at J, and it stuck. So cool. Fun. I like it now. It works now.
Yeah.
Elementary school is fun, but
yeah, I'm sure
kids will make fun of anything. So
exactly.
Good.
Adults do too, man.
Yeah. But I definitely have, over the years of on the Lampergers forum and probably on Instagram and stuff, people don't think they just think it's my avatar, name.
Mm-hmm.
They don't think it's my real name. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because that is a danger, man. I don't know anybody's name in the flame working world right now, and that's like, some people put their Instagram names are just like this, leap speed, like who knows what they're really saying, and to me, I'm probably saying the wrong word. If I actually looked at it, I'd realize, you're something totally different than what I've been saying.
Yep.
Because,
yeah, I mentioned that a couple weeks back, talking about shipping packages, and I have like Dab Queen on the name.
Yeah.
Address,
Yeah. And, I had somebody send me a piece recently that they hadn't cleaned off and sent through the mail, and it's like, and it was a pendant. I don't even do that, like deal with that yet. And it's like, really, like, people are that slacker about it. You were talking about that on the podcast.
Yeah, but clean your shit if you want it fixed. Holy shit.
Come on. Yeah, a wet nap is all it took.
Yeah, Jesus. Well, I guess on that note, man, I am going to go pass the fuck out.
Yeah, right on.
Hell yeah.
All right, aloha.
All right, homeboy. Take it easy, dude. Yeah, man.
Nice.
Peace.
Good.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show. If you have any questions, comments, or remarks, please leave them in the show notes page area where it says comments. We'll see you soon. Have a wise night.
You're listening to the Wise Guy Radio Show.